Hey guys, so this week I've been playing Beyond Two Souls from David, I wish I was making movies instead of video games, Cage. It's a game that's kind of like if you ever played Heavy Rain. It's a lot of quick time events, it's very movie driven, it has a lot of Hollywood celebrity actors. It's got Ellen Page as the starring role, it's got Willem Dafoe and some other people who you've never heard of, but it's kind of more of a movie than a game at points, but is it any good? Well, here's my opinion. Beyond Two Souls is a story as old as time. It's the story of girl meets boy, girl falls for boy, girl is ostracized by boy for using her supernatural powers, girl joins the CIA to go on covert missions with their special ghost powers. In the game you play as Ellen Page, but for some reason everyone's calling her Jodie? I don't really get it, but whatever. Jodie was born with a ghost named Aiden who's attached to her spirit or something, but it gives her all these really cool powers like telekinesis and mind control. The game is just a series of events in Jodie's life told completely out of order for what seems like no reason at all. And that's one of my problems with this game because I never really got a full sense of what was going on because it just keeps jumping back and forth throughout her timeline. Unlike movies like Memento or the films of Quentin Tarantino, the non-linear narrative doesn't really seem to service the plot at all. With those examples, it's usually used to add tension to the plot or add an air of mystery to what's going on. But with Beyond Two Souls, that really doesn't feel like the case to me. In fact, many times I felt like the non-linear narrative is actually doing a disservice to the plot rather than helping it. I don't know why I should feel bad for Jodie for having to kill someone for the first time when 3 chapters ago I literally murdered a dozen cops for no reason. Many of the moments in the game feel very forced and heavy-handed and are just really trying to make you feel emotions. The acting in the game is all really well done from all the actors. They did, full body motion scanning, so you get an actual actor's performance in the game. And the game itself is very beautiful to look at, but much like the storytelling, it feels like they're just trying to trick me into feeling emotions without actually putting in any of the work. If you played Heavy Rain, then you might expect to make a bunch of choices throughout the game and then see how those choices reflect on the ways the events play out in the game. Sadly, that's not actually the case this time around. Because of the non-linear way the story is being told, what choices that you can actually make throughout the game are very limited and have only immediate effects on the story, but never affect the entirety of the game. The story just chugs along regardless of your input. I mean, let's face it, if we let the players involved in the story, they might miss all of that emotion. The most gameplay-like element of the game is when you get to control your ghost pal Aiden. You use him throughout the game to do anything from throwing a tantrum to topple a third world government. Using his powers is a lot of fun, but they're pretty much only applicable to specific points in the game and mostly only in specific ways that they want you to use them. It makes it less about problem solving and getting past puzzles and more just painting by numbers, like, oh, now's the time where I choke this guy and then fling this barrel. These elements highlight my fundamental concern with this game. It feels like every moment of this game I'm being told what to do and how. The game takes a lot of input out of your way, and you're basically meant to sit there and be told when and how to feel all of these emotions. None of that would really be a deal breaker if it weren't for the fact that I found the story and its characters pretty bland. The performances are all really great, but they didn't have a lot to work with. The game relies very heavily on simple archetypes and story tropes to try and get you to feel something, but it never really amounts to much of anything. I don't want to get stuck in the, is this even a real video game debate, because who gives a, we'll call it interactive entertainment. Now, everyone satisfied? No, you're never satisfied, freaking internet. But overall, I would say it's an enjoyable game for its moments, but I didn't like it as much as Heavy Rain. It felt like more of a video game than Heavy Rain, but I like that Heavy Rain's, my decisions had consequences later on in the story, where there are really no consequences to any of your action. No matter how, if you play it like as a psychopath or you play it as an all-good person, does not affect a single beat of the story, which I don't really enjoy. I wanted to have more agency in the story, which, whatever. If you liked Heavy Rain, you'll like this, and if you didn't like Heavy Rain, you won't like this. I think it's worth trying, but if you haven't tried Heavy Rain, go for that one first. And certainly, if you've never played Telltale Games' The Walking Dead, go for that beyond this, because I think that game, even though I had problems with that game, I still think there's more video game in it, more player agency, a better story. Overall, this game is alright. It's kind of worth a rental, but I don't think it's worth owning.
Bleh, this is Count Dracula, reminding you to be safe this holiday season and like and favorite this video, otherwise the creatures of the dead would come after you. This is actual script you want me to read? Ugh, I've fallen so far. I used to be freaking Dracula. Now I'm doing goddamn YouTube videos.